Hello, welcome to this new webinar. We will check if the sound works well. So if you can use the interface to say hello and to explain if you have any issue with the sound. We will start in a few minutes. Okay, so let's start. Today we will present you feedback on the rollout of an indoor solution location based on a mesh network on a construction site in Asia. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them during the webinar by using the interface. We will answer them at the end of the session. For information, we will have a second session in English today at 7 p.m. French time. So let's start. So first, let me introduce the speakers of the day. Nicolas Lemaire, co-founder of Omniscient Society, Eden Suhr, business and ecosystem development at WirePass, and Willy Lemercier, sales director from ELA Innovation. The agenda for the presentation is the following. So we will start with a context and project description. Then we will present you WirePass mesh for indoor location solution. Then the tags which used during the project. Then the web platform from Omniscient. And then we will conclude with a feedback and the next step of the project. So now I give the floor to Nicolas from Omniscient to present the context and the project description.
Thank you, Fanny. Hi, everyone. So the project we are presenting today has been initiated by construction site supervisors and managers to answer a recurring problem in large construction projects. How can we organize hundreds, sometimes thousands of workers across very large sites? How can we answer this simple question of who's doing what and when? It is very important to know where is everyone. First, for safety reasons, in case of emergency evacuation of a height 8 tower, you need to measure the progress of the evacuation and make sure no one is left behind. But it's also important to know where everyone is to organize the project properly. As project director, you need to make sure that every contractor is on site with the right staffing at the right place. It's the only way to keep up with the program. And today, if you want to do that, you need to send supervisors who will count workers floor per floor manually. Can you imagine how tedious and inefficient that can be? So it's for these two reasons, improve safety on site and help projects manage their resources more efficiently, that Bouygues Construction Asia started to look at geolocation technologies. So the team in Bouygues Construction Asia quickly contacted us at Omniscient. Omniscient is a startup created through Bouygues Construction Entrepreneurship Program in 2018. This program aims at accelerating innovative ideas that can help the construction industry in general. Since then, we have started to get some traction, and we have entered early this year Bouygues Group Incubator for a 12-month program that will help us to commercialize our product at a much larger scale. Omniscient mission is to improve productivity on site thanks to geolocation technologies and data analysis. We have developed a multi-technology geolocation platform dedicated to the construction industry. First of all, why multi-technology? Because there isn't any one-size-fits-all technology to answer construction use case. You need indoor and outdoor solutions. You need to track plants and engines, but also power tools, which are much smaller. That's why we created a single platform that allows construction managers to visualize all their resources on their project drawings independently of the technology. So far, we have integrated devices using LoRaWAN network, Sigfox networks, BLE, GPS, Wi-Fi, and of course, WirePass technology. At Omniscient, we are also focusing a lot on the insight we can get from the data collected. The location, of course, of the resources is very important, but also the usage ratio of tools and engines, the hours spent per area for workers. We analyze patterns of behavior to measure efficiency of a process or quickly identify a bottleneck. So Dragash Singapore wanted to test the solution on one of their major projects. The Glory Tower in the central district of Singapore. It's a 51-floor mixed usage development, including offices, a commercial center, apartments, an indoor garden over 4 floors, and a restaurant at the top. It's a very ambitious program involving about 1,800 workers at peak working. At some stages, they will be working 6 days a week, days and nights. For Dragash Singapore, the main goals of the project was to first test an indoor location solution on a project this size. I'll explain in a few minutes the challenges we had to overcome to make the solution a success on that type of project. They also wanted to improve safety on site thanks to the real-time headcount per floor. They wanted to help project manager to manage contractors on site. They wanted to know in real time the headcount per contractors, per trade, and per floor. They also wanted to know how the headcount was evolving every day and to be able to calculate the hours worked per contractor and per area. And finally, more for the planning and staffing point of view, the project team needed to know how many men and hours were required to complete a typical office floor, to fine-tune their program and ramp-up strategy, and to secure the delivery of the project. So you can imagine the benefits of this type of solutions. First, the benefits in terms of supervision and reporting, because you don't need to calculate the headcount manually anymore. So it can be thousands of hours saved on a project. But also, and that's probably the main benefit of that type of solutions, you have a tool to help you manage and secure your program. So with those objectives in mind, we knew that the best way to achieve an accurate location on such a large-scale project for a realistic cost, the WirePass technology was probably the most suited one. So I'll let Eden explain you how the WirePass network works. Thank you.
Yes, thanks, Nicolas, and hi, everyone. I am Eden Suir and happy to go through this presentation with you. So let me know about WirePass. WirePass is a Finnish company which provides a solution that connects currently over 3 million devices around the world. This is possible thanks to a versatile solution and our ecosystem on 160 licenses like ELA and Omnition today, and which I am very pleased to be presenting with. WirePass was founded in 2010, but the actual research started 20 years ago. And now we have a global presence with 55 employees in 8 countries. Today we present you an application related to asset tracking, but our technology can also be used in other sectors such as smart lighting, where we also have a dedicated solution, and metering, which is the historic sector with the current largest network of over 700,000 meters in Oslo, and which are all connected in the same network. So what is WirePass Mesh? First of all, it is a software that can run on any device with great versatility and scalable performance using 2 configuration modes, low power and high performance. It then creates a mesh network where all the intelligence lays within the network itself, making it fully dynamic and agile. For interoperability, we also provide a wide range of drivers and open source APIs to connect the local mesh network to the web-based platform or cloud. And finally, we also provide a set of tools that I will describe later and libraries for a very easy commissioning process. So in the end, you can see that we provide much more than a mesh protocol, but a complete mesh solution with great flexibility. And what is our value proposition for asset tracking? I think there is some delay. Yep. So what is our value proposition for asset tracking? We have developed our technology to provide a solution with the lowest total cost of ownership based on hardware level. Through this criteria, we would like you to remember this sweet spot, the 555, for a solution that is very cost efficient. and I'll be happy to develop the calculation with you on a meeting after the webinar. So if we go through the infrastructure and operation principle, what is the infrastructure that is needed? First, we need to set the network infrastructure that depends on two things. The anchors that are battery operated and will form automatically the WirePass mesh network and serve as fixed location position that you can see on the map, and that based on the blue puck from ELA. And the gateway, which is the bridge between the local network and the cloud. On the back end, we also connect to the WirePass network tool, the WirePass positioning engine that I will describe a bit later, and the Omniscient platform, but I'll come back also to that later with Nicolas. So regarding the mobile tags and how do we track the assets? So then we have to add the mobile asset into the network. Each tag will scan all visible anchors nearby at regular interval to send its radio measurement through the WirePass mesh network. All measurements will be then relayed to the solver, which is the WirePass positioning engine that you can see on the top left hand side, and it will automatically calculate the position using RSSI methods. So how is it in practice? In practice, you can see on the left side how the anchors were fixed onto concrete pillars, and this was done by the workers on site. So basically, one floor is around 2,100 square meters, and one anchors can cover around 250 square meters. So it was used around 9 anchors per floor. On the top right hand side, you can see how the gateways were also installed onto simple cabinets, and we used around 9 gateways for the whole building. And on the bottom left hand side, you can see how the tags were provided to the builders through simple cards that are that can be weared on the waist. So everything was designed to be efficient, easy to install and use. Some other additional features that we add to the asset tracking solution is that we can also provide with BLE beacon that can help monitoring and localize outside the network coverage. We can also command to be sent through the WirePass mesh network with application like light picking, and to go further applications, we can also use the WirePass mesh network to relay other information from sensors through the payload provided. So what is the WirePass network tool? So it's to help with installation and monitor the WirePass mesh network. It's also used for network configuration and device management. So as you can see on the left side, this is the interface lookalike, so that you can see all the tags that are positioned in the map, and the functionalities that are available through a set of APIs that are also included now in our license. Talking about our license, here is a global picture of our solution. So starting from the left is ELA, that is our WirePass mesh licensee, and has integrated our solution within its device. And all of the networks that are creating using the device are connected to the cloud, where we also provide a set of tools and APIs that are licensed to Omniscient to provide Bouygues Construction a set of useful information that Nicolas will explain later on. And this flexibility is our biggest strength. As we provide a powerful solution to our ecosystem partners, which can then focus on their added values and provide the end solution to the customer. And I will now hand over to Willy for ELA presentation.
Thanks, Eden. Hello, so my name is Willy Mercier. I'm the Sales Director of ELA Innovation. So first, very briefly, let me present ELA Innovation for the ones who don't know us. So ELA Innovation is a French manufacturer and designer of wireless tags and sensors, which are fully dedicated for the industrial IoT application. So historically, our core technology was the accelerated PHY, but for a few years, we have been focused on the Bluetooth low energy technology. And in this portfolio, we have indeed the WirePass mesh technology. And more recently, we have introduced in the market LoRa-based product, which is one of the technology on the low power wide area network. If you take into account one point regarding all our tags, whatever the technology is, really the fact that they have been designed in order to offer the longest life cycle possible, with a life cycle which can last up to 20 years for a few of them. In few figures, who we are. So ELA Innovation is has been created 20 years ago. We are a team of 30 people. Since we are on the IoT market, our financial figures are quite good, with almost 300% growth over the past years. We have our own R&D department, offering the possibility to develop all these products, and with a budget which is composed of 40% of our revenue. And based upon our sales team and the footprint, we have international sales which reached the threshold of 25% last year, with a target of 50% for this year. Now let's focus on one of our portfolio range, which is the WirePass mesh tags and sensor. And in this case, especially the tags for this project of indoor TLS solution. The first part, as it has been explained in terms of architecture, is the gateway. So we have two types of gateway. The first one is the Raspberry Pi, which is more for the evaluation purposes. And the second one, which has been used for this project, is really industrial gateway, and developed by the solid run manufacturer. So the name of this gateway is SolidSense, which offer different type of connectivities, Ethernet, Wi-Fi, and cellular connectivities, and two WirePass mesh chipsets. So this gateway has been provided for this project inside a Junction box, which is quite usual for this construction type of construction project. And as you could see on the picture on the top right, this Junction box was placed close to the electrical power units, which are used on each floor, and it's quite more flexible. Since, as you can guess, this is a project of construction, we didn't have any local network like Wi-Fi or Wi-Fi or Ethernet, so that's why we use the local cellular connectivity. And the last point, which can quite helpful, is the fact that we provided this gateway with a backup battery in order to compensate any electrical shutdown, which could be which will occur during the project. And what is quite important, and this is one of the advantages of the WirePass mesh technology, is despite of the 51 floors, we only provided 9 gateways in order to cover all the floors and all the surface in order to transport all the data coming from the anchors and the tags. The second part of our portfolio for the WirePass mesh range is what we call the anchors. So that means the tags which are used to create the mesh network and to transport the data coming from the mobile tags. We have two types of anchors today to offer to our clients, the Bluepack ID mesh and the Blue Anchor. Both are designed in industrial casing, IP68 waterproof. The main difference is the Bluepack ID mesh will last 3 years in a routing mode, and the Blue Anchor will last 15 years. So depending on the project, on each use case, we have two type of anchors. And in this project, according to the duration of the project, the Bluepack ID mesh has been selected. And for the next slide, you will see, I would say, the practical advantages of this type of anchors. The first one is, of course, which is the first requirements, the localization of the workers. And in this case, any worker was located every 5 minutes, and the Bluepack ID mesh in this type of configuration lasts 3 years with an accuracy which is less than 10 meters for each floor. And it's quite important to take into account that the worker can be located whatever the floor, with the fact to discriminate the floors. And in this project, as you can guess, if you look at the picture, one of the key points is the fact to offer a system which can be quite flexible in terms of installation, but also installation, in order to give the possibility to tune and optimize the configuration. So the Bluepack ID mesh can be fixed with screw, with a sticker, or in this case, for this project, with clamp. And it's quite easy to install, as you can see on the aluminum rail, in order to have the right configuration for the floor. And after that, since we are talking about the tower, we can easily duplicate the same configuration, the same placement for all the other floors. The last part of the WirePass mesh portfolio that we can offer is, of course, what we call the mobile tags for the asset tracking or for the worker localization, depending on your project. As you can see in this slide, we can offer a wide range of tags depending on your use case. We can offer very thin tags like the new Blue Light ID Plus mesh, which will be introduced in the market this summer. Of course, the Blue Slim ID mesh, which is very thin, only 2.4 millimeters thickness. But we have also the Blue Coin ID Plus mesh, which is more robust for instance, for this type of project. And the Bluepack ID Plus mesh, which is the most powerful tags that we have on the WirePass mesh technology. And this is this one which has been selected for this project. Please note that we have the Bluepack Buzz Plus mesh, which offer also the possibility to have a buzzer feature, which can be used, for instance, to find in a quicker way any assets, or to give an information, a sound information to the worker through the mesh network. Now, let me give you the, I would say, the main reasons why this Bluepack ID Plus mesh was adapted, suited for this project, this construction project. The first one is its life cycle, which fits exactly the duration of the project. So with a 5 minutes localization frequency, the Bluepack ID Plus mesh can last 2.5 years. The other point, which is quite important in the construction requirement, is that the tag has to be very robust and compact. Robust because I would say the worker doesn't have to take care about the tag itself. He doesn't have to take care about the tag, whatever is movement. And compact because, as you can see on the picture, it has to be compact enough in order to be stick, in this case, on the batch order. So we provided the Bluepack ID Plus mesh with the stick directly with the batch order in order that it can be compatible with the identification rules for the access control. Robust also because it's IP68 waterproof. So in this case, there is no problem to use in this construction equipment where it can be in contact with water, for instance. I didn't talk about that on the previous slide, but please note that except for the Blue Slim ID Plus mesh, but for all the other tags, we provide by default a peak to light feature in our tags. The peak to light feature means that there is a high brightness LED, which can be activated through the mesh network, as Eden presented in his slide. So that can give, I would say, visual information for the workers in order to alert him about any, for instance, any security purposes. The last point is the fact that all our tags has an NFC chipset, which is used for the configuration or for the activation, but in a practical way, for this type of project, we have sometimes to take into account also the existing access control system. And by this NFC chipset, it gives the possibility to combine the access control and the fact to verify if any worker can has his tags before entering into the site. So it's for all this reason that the Bluepack ID plus mesh has been selected for this construction project. Thanks. Let's say Nicolas continuing the presentation. Thanks.
Thank you, Willy. So after the WirePass mesh network, DLE tags and anchors, the third key component of the solution is, of course, omniscient geolocation platform. The app is accessible from any PC, tablet, or smartphone. It integrates the project drawings on virtual areas that you can draw on the project drawings. It allows to visualize the workforce per floor, to filter multiple criteria like trades, nature of work, a specific role in the organization like supervisors or safety officer. An elevation view of the building is also available for a quick overview of the workforce dispatch in the tower. Alerts and report can be set up, for example, to receive a text alert if a person who's not authorized enter a specific area. The platform has been designed to integrate different technologies of geolocation, but also to be set up really quickly. TWG drawings, once clean, are integrated in the app very quickly. A mass upload functionality is available to create a list of badges with all their characteristics like roles or nature of work. A new work site can be set up in something like that less than 2 hours. So I think it's a very important functionality, and it's very important to keep in mind that this platform has been designed with construction use cases in mind. So you don't want to spend a lot of time setting up the platform when you start a project. Handing over and manage hundreds of badges can be also very challenging, but with the app, contractors, supervisors can reallocate them really quickly and update names and jobs as the staffing of the project change. Finally, the last element of the project is the data analysis dashboard. Analytic dashboard is a key component of the Omniscient platform. It allows supervisor to visualize evolution of the workforce per day, hours worked, per area on floor. All this information can be filtered by contractors, trades, nature of work. And you can dig into data to look at the hour per hour evolution of the staffing on a specific day, or take a more broader view and see how the workers of a specific trade are moving inside the tower day after day. So it really gives you a completely new insight of how your construction process is working, on how your workforce is dispatched in the building, it gives you a new insight on your project progress. So what makes the solution we've built all together between WirePass, ELA, and Omniscient really great is how fast it can be rolled out on site. Here are the main milestones of the project. First of all, we received the purchase order just before Christmas in 2019. The hardware arrived on site at the end of January, just after Chinese New Year. In the meantime, we prepared the deployment and set up the app. First week of February, a small team managed to, in 4 days, to train the local resource. So they understood the main functionalities of the app and were able to install anchors by themselves. You don't need to be a telecom engineer to deploy the system on site, and that's one of the good things of this ELA tags on the WirePass network. We managed to install the anchors over more than 15,000 square in 2 days. We commissioned 4 gateways, tested them, make sure that the geolocation system was working correctly. And finally, we handed over a batch of 200 badges to the worker so the system can start collecting data right away. So you can see all that has been done in 4 days. So it's very, very straightforward and very easy to install. The main strengths of the solutions are, first of all, the network resilience of the WirePass network. And it's very important in the changing environment of a work site. If some changes occur, like a new structure blocking the communication between two anchors, the network will reconfigure itself. So you don't have to worry about that. Tags and anchor battery lives were also very important. You don't need to worry about cabling the anchors or recharging the batteries of the tags during the project. And when you have 1800 badges to take care of, you don't want to start thinking about who's need to be charged on which badge needs to be charged and when. Also, an important point was the ease of installation. The worksite teams were able to install the anchors by themselves as the project progressed. The construction dedicated Omniscient platform with ready to use functionalities for construction use case were also very important in that project. It makes it much more faster to implement. And finally, the last very important point is the ease of supervision of the solutions. The WirePass network sends diagnostic messages at regular intervals, so it can be monitored remotely. We managed to monitor the network 10,000 kilometers away. We could set up in the Omniscient platform alerts if there was anything wrong with the geolocation system. So it's really a system that doesn't need anyone with very specific telecommunication and geolocation skills on site to manage it. So for more than 2 months, Dragash Singapore has managed to track 400 M&E workers on 10 offices floors and started to get some benefit from the solutions. It gave them actually factual information to discuss with contractors ramp up and turnover issue. At the moment, the project has been stopped in Singapore because Singapore is under lockdown to fight COVID-19 spreading. But I'm sure when the geolocation, that the geolocation solution would be a key component to help the project restart in June in an orderly manner and make sure ramp up targets are reached quickly. What was important after these first few months is, first of all, for this first rollout of this solution on such a large project, to confirm, one, that the technology works well in construction environments. It was an important landmark before larger adoption on Dragash Singapore projects. Secondly, to confirm the benefits worksite can get from the relocation solutions. Day-to-day benefits in terms of health and safety, real-time floor per floor head count in case of emergency evacuation, the possibility to locate workers in case of accidents, to fight lone working, and to manage no entries area. But also day-to-day benefits in terms of workforce management, being able to quickly locate someone or something, or make sure everyone is working at the right place, and redeploy the workforce to match priorities. But the Omniscient solution also brings completely new insights on the progress of the project thanks to its KPI dashboards. The project director can measure adequacy of the workforce with the program, measure time spent and resources required to complete a specific area, monitor productivity ratio. And the solution also brings long-term benefits. All the data collected helps quotation teams and program teams to improve future projects. And already Dragash Singapore have included this geolocation solution in some of their bids at the moment. So they have a plan in mind to be able to adopt at a much larger scale that type of technology. And that's a completely new way actually to think about construction process, making it much closer than manufacturing industry with real-time continuous data collection and the possibility to actually improve your process project from project to project. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Nicolas. So now we will answer a few questions, then get back to you by email if you have any questions more. We will also send you the replay link by email in a few days. So let's start the questions. So the first question is, why did you have 9 gateways? Why not only 1 gateway?
Can answer to this one. Actually, because of the scale of the project, we use 9 gateways to assure redundancy in the system, to balance the load of the network between several gateways, because we at full scale, when the project will be completely deployed, we'll have more than 500 anchors on site. With 1800 tags communicating all the time. So it can be a huge loads of messages for just one gateway. And the third reason was actually that some part of the buildings, there was some very heavy concrete slabs in between. So the communication was difficult between 2 parts of the building. So it was actually much easier to just install a gateway just to isolate a specific part.
Okay, thank you. And the next question is, are the battery replaceable in the devices, and are there any sensors in the anchor and the tags?
Okay, so I think I can answer those 2 questions. For the battery and the possibility to replace them, in fact, the answer is not unique. It depends on the type of tag that we have in our portfolio. If you take the blue anchor and the new blue light ID mesh, it will be possible to replace the battery by yourself or by the user. For the blue coin and the blue puck casing, since those products are sealed for the IP68 waterproof label, the user cannot replace the battery by himself, but we can offer this repacking service at our site in order to replace the housing of the battery and to provide a kind of new tags in this case. The second question was about the sensor. In this particular project, what we provided was purely, I would say, identification tags for the people localization. So there is no sensor inside. But it was not presented for this webinar, but we have a complete range of wireless sensor compatible with the WirePass mesh technology, including temperature sensor, temperature and humidity sensor, including magnetic sensor, digital input and digital output also. So we have the possibility through a WirePass mesh network also to provide sensing information with the blue puck casing with the different type of sensors that are just listed. You can find all this information in our website.
Thank you. So the next question is, the 5-minute interval can be configured from the device or other platforms?
Yes, I will take this question. So WirePass can be configured, and the time can be also configured. So absolutely, you can set the interval that you want. It is great to use this functionality to minimize the battery consumption and provide you with better battery lifetime. So absolutely, this is part of our mesh intelligence that we provide with WirePass mesh.
Okay, thank you. Maybe a last question, then we will close the webinar. So okay, so last question about the gateways. Each gateways can talking to each other. Maybe
I can
Eden.
answer this one, yeah, if you want. So the gateway actually all send the data to the servers, so they don't really need to communicate to each others, and that's the WirePass engine that actually do the reconciliation of all the data collected. So it works like one system, but actually no, in fact, on site the gateway doesn't have to communicate with each other, which is make it much more resilient actually.
Okay, perfect. So maybe we can ask last question regarding the infrastructure. Yeah. So what was the criteria used to determine the number of anchors required per floor and for the whole building?
Okay, maybe I can answer this one because the Omniscient teams work on the design for that project. The main criteria is the surface, first of all, because on the distance between two anchors. So you need to make sure that for the mesh network to work properly, that two anchors can communicate to each other. So you don't want them to be too far away, and you also want to provide a maximum possible routes for the anchors. So if they, for any reason the communication is stopped between two anchors, one anchor has the possibility to back to reconfigure itself and send this message to another anchor. So that was one of the criteria: the surface, the possibility of the anchors to communicate with each other. And after that, the third one is probably the accuracy you want. If you don't need to be really accurate, you can spread the anchors a bit wider. If you want to have like a room level accuracy, you probably need to have a more dense infrastructure. So accuracy, accuracy is also a very important point of view for the design.
Okay, thank you. So then we get back to you by email to answer the other questions individually. You will receive in your email box a link for the replay, and if you have any questions, you can ask them by email. Thank you for watching this webinar, and thank you for all the speakers.
Thanks. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Have a nice day. Bye.
Bye.